And finally, we also face a problem which is a continuous matter of concern, and this relates to the technical assistance that is given to many developing countries, in particular to patent offices and patenting strategies. So we refer now to the issue of what is being patented in the area of pharmaceuticals, in particular ARVs. And the main problem I will present is that many patent offices are following very lax standards in order to consider patent applications on pharmaceuticals. And this is part of, fortunately, of technical assistance provided by some patent offices, the US Patent Office, the European Patent Office, WIPO, that does not provide these offices with the right tools in order to make a serious, rigorous assessment of patent applications. And as an outcome of this, the situation we have is that we are not getting just one patent on one particular medicine. We are getting, in some cases, dozens of patents regarding one particular medicine. And this is because, in addition to the active ingredients, patents are applied for and are granted in connection with formulations, with salts, processes for manufacture, combinations, polymorphs, which is a huge change for patenting of polymorphs, in some cases optical isomers, or the new indications of existing drugs. So this is a situation that has been addressed, for instance, by the European Commission in a very interesting report, very long, but it's interesting to read it. The European Commission made a study of the situation of the pharmaceutical industry in Europe, and they found that patents were used in Europe in order to prevent generic competition in a significant manner. This study concluded that the public and the governments were losing about 3 billion euros in the period 2000-2007 because of the late entry of generic medicines that that resulted from the abuse of patents in the European Union. One interesting finding of this report is that individual medicines are protected in the European Union by up to nearly 100 product-specific patent families, which can lead to up to 1,300 patents and or pending patent applications across the member states. And this is referring to one single medicine. So can you imagine if this number of patents is being granted, and since there isn't yet a community patent at the European level for a generic company, there is a need to challenge patents in each jurisdiction, in Germany, in France, in Netherlands, etc., and not only one, because there are many patents covering one particular product. WIPO produced a study regarding ritonavir patents, and WIPO found that there have been over 800 patents filed since the initial PCT application of ritonavir to protect different aspects of ritonavir and its method of use. The implications of protection, this study says, are important for developing countries to consider. Simply licensing the initial key documents will not provide adequate freedom to operate because of the breadth of coverage by subsequent patents. So this is a major problem that we need to face, the fact that there isn't one single patent, but families. This is also presented in WIPO study. This is the map, the so-called citation map of the initial patent for ritonavir. So you can see here the wide implications that it has. So this is a key concern, and I hope there will be some discussion about this during this event. The fact that low standards of patentability are applied is a major problem because access to drugs is limited, not just because of the existence of the original patent, which may be deserved, but because of the existence of evergreening patents on formulations, polymorphs, indications, so on and so forth, that prevent generic entry in a significant manner. And this problem has been faced also by suppliers, such as the Global Fund, so on and so forth. Well, finally, just to come to an end, another reason for concern. As I mentioned before, The great majority of antiretrovirals supplied by different programs at the national level, international level, come from generic companies in India. The question here is whether this will continue to be the case or not. And the concern is that in the very last, in the recent time, there has been a number of takeovers by foreign companies of local generic companies in India. You can see here the list and how much it was paid for these companies, very significant amount. It's very difficult to say whether this is really overvalued. This seems to be the case. But then you see that a number of companies now are not anymore in the hands of Indian owners, and most likely these companies will not continue to act as providers of cheap generics as it might have been the case in the past. So just to conclude, and it's difficult to make a balance. We have some positive aspects, we have some negative aspects after the Doha Declaration. Clearly, I think the positive aspect of Doha Declaration was it increased significantly awareness, public awareness, about the problem of about this tension between intellectual property and public health. I think that was a major contribution of the Doha Declaration. So in terms of the political impact has been important. Legal impact would also be important if we look at possible interpretations of many clauses. The Doha Declaration actually supported the introduction and use of flexibilities in the area of patent legislation. So I think this is an important part of it. There has been, as it was mentioned, an impressive scale-up of ARV treatment, but still much work remains to be done. And if what I have mentioned is correct, if many countries do not still use flexibilities, or they are not even provided in the legislation, if it is correct that we still need to treat 5 million or more people, if it is true that the prices of drugs will increase, especially if we need to move to second-line, third-line therapies, and if it is true that funding may decrease because of the global crisis and other phenomena, so we really need now to work hard in order to ensure that the treat flexibilities are actually there and that actually used. This will probably the only way out if we want to ensure that people that require treatment actually get access to it. Thank you very much.